Everybody, Scott Costa, publisher of TED Magazine. Thanks for joining us for another Distributed with TED Magazine podcast, both on video and audio. Appreciate you joining me. We have a great guest and had a great conversation with Erin Prinster, who is NAED's research and data analyst. She's also the creator of NAED's economic and industry sector outlook. A great piece of information for you that you need if you're strategizing and what to know about the economy and the forecast for what's going to be happening in 2021. I got a chance to see the October issue of it. I was very impressed with everything that was in there. And it comes at a great price that's worth it to you. So you're going to want to check this out. She gave us some great insight about what's going to be coming up. So I'm not going to make you wait for it. Here it is, our Distributed with TED Magazine podcast with Erin Prinster. Erin Prinster is joining us on the Distributed with TED Magazine podcast. She is NAED's research and data analyst. Erin, thanks for joining me, and thanks for getting together so we can talk about this quarter's economic outlook.
You're welcome. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you having me.
It is great to have you. So let's get started. Tell us, again, for those who don't know, what exactly is the economic outlook and how could it help our NAED members, going into 2021?
Of course. The economic outlook and the 11 industry sectors that we have along with that provides our members and non-members a full analysis in tandem with our construction index, which is our very own created construction index, on identified trends and a forecast and what that means for the electrical industry. It also assists with growth opportunities and other opportunities that we have researched that are out there.
And it's a great thing that you brought up too, just to get this off the table before we get started, get it on the table, I guess, before we get started. This is made specifically for NAED distributors, manufacturers, correct? I mean, this isn't like one of those things. Go ahead.
That is correct. Yes. Manufacturers and distributors.
And that's what makes it so specialized and so great for our members is that we're thinking of you as we're putting together this data. So tell me about these sectors, these 11 industry sectors that you talked about a minute ago. What are they? How do you look at them and examine them? And what's the benefit of them?
Yes, each sector has a historical trend look at the beginning of each quarter. We kind of look back and do a quick synopsis of what has happened in the prior quarter to lead up to where we think things are going. We look at trends. For example, volume 2 that's coming out at the end of January, we recap the trends that we saw in quarter 3 and some in quarter 4. Not all numbers are out yet, but as much as we can get our hands on is going to be in on this. And where we think that each indicator, where that's headed in the next 1 or 2 years. We cover key economic indicators such as capital spend, revenue, construction. We talk about opportunities, and I'll go into each sector really quick. We have an overall economic outlook that covers unemployment, GDP, copper, industrial, manufacturing. We have our construction, which I talked a little bit about a minute ago, and that is created specifically for NAED members. And what that is it focuses on MSAs, and it drills down each MSA, which is very unique for our members, and gives us an index that shows us potential growth opportunity in the construction area for each of those MSAs. Now, right now, we only have 102 MSAs because we want to give our members
only 102. Sorry,
only 102. Yes, that's quite a bit.
Yes.
We don't have, for the rest of the MSAs that aren't shown, we don't have the most up-to-date information. We still only have data from 2018 and 2019. So we want to give the most up-to-date data for those MSAs. So it's through quarter 3 of 2020. And it helps look at the size and the scale of the market and the potential longer-term growth for that area in construction spend.
Yeah. So let me cut you off real quick, though. So to think about this, so I'm a distributor and I have branches in multiple states or multiple cities. This, again, there's 102 of them. This provides, one company the opportunity to spread that construction index information amongst its branches. So it's not just a national number. It actually is granular down to the MSA, the market area.
Correct.
A lot of value in that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Then we have the airline sector, and we look at air traffic, passengers, number of passengers that have been flying domestically. We look at capital spend in the airline industry, demand, manufacturing, revenue. The automotive sector, that covers production, assemblies, sales.
Mhm.
We have data centers, that covers business conducted online, revenue, expectations for data centers in the near future. We also cover the education sector, and we look at enrollments at the college level. We look at what's been going on in elementary and high school education, education as a whole, construction spend, revenue growth, capital outlay, taxes. Electrical industry, of course, we have to have that. We cover consumption, demand, revenue for the industry as a whole, not only for full line distributors, but also the electrical industry as a whole. Then we look at general medicine and surgical hospitals, and we know that there's a lot going on in that area right now. We cover medical spend per capita, revenue in general, economic impact in other industries, population and growth rates, changes in construction spend in the medical industry, multifamily and single family, our residential construction customer. We know a lot's been going on with that too, and that's been looking really good. We cover housing starts and permit activities, and we break that down by region as well. Oil and gas, we cover the price of oil, gas, diesel, oil per barrel, and we look at that by region, and we look at rig count. We also have the pharmaceutical sector, and that covers sales and revenue and manufacturing, and we all know that is an interesting topic as well this time around. Sewage treatment facilities, we look at wastewater, utilities, the value of construction, and that kind of complements your single family and multifamily sector. And then we have supermarkets, which online grocery sales has been accelerating, and grocery sales as a whole has been accelerating. So we have growth in that area and construction spend that we look at there as well.
It's, you know what, and it's interesting that you brought all this stuff I'm glad we laid out all 11, because I had a chance to see, the third quarter one that you put out, like I worked on it. The one that you put out in October, I had a chance to see that report, and it is all encompassing. It's really great, and it's not complicated, for lack of but it's not so kind of like, oh God, I can't get through. It's really done well and laid out well, where folks can, really kind of understand it. So how do they use it? Like, how can if I want to subscribe and get this, once I get it, how am I going to use it?
So our members can use this in many different ways. And I think different companies might find this appealing for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Some members might want to add another point of reference to their repertoire. They could use it to compare what they already have, or they can take our forecast and mix it in with what they're doing in their own forecast. Some members might not have any resources or the time to look at this information. Mm-hmm. So we're checking the box for them. And it provides them some peace of mind. They're in tune with the economic data every quarter and don't have to go out and search for all this stuff by themselves. Mm-hmm. And like we just talked about, there are 11 sectors that go in detail, but it's comprehensive. It's written and formatted and structured and designed to not be long and drawn out. It gives you a little bit of history, talks about the trends, lets you know where we're headed. So the takeaway, Scott, is this Outlook provides a wealth of information, and it helps us all be succinct. It's a one-stop shop. And yes, well, some companies might have access to this data already, and they might collect it on their own. It takes a lot of time. There's research involved. There's analyzing the trends. There's watching the trends. There's keeping up with the most current information and researching all those opportunities. So sometimes with other free resources out there, people have to give to get, and we're not asking our members to do anything other than subscribe. So let NAED and this economic outlook be your strategic partner for looking forward towards the future.
You're right. It is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time I know it's taken you a lot of time because you work really hard on getting all of this together, each quarter. And it's not really, tell me who it's targeted for. To me, it seems like it's not just the highest level, but there's a number of levels. So uses that? Like if I subscribe, how many people in my organization are going to get value out of this, and who should be looking at it?
I'm glad you asked that. Everybody. The Outlook is designed for everyone, not just CEOs, executives, directors, or those making the big decisions. It can be used as a learning tool for those that are new to the industry, and they can realize how many sectors the electrical industry touches. And if they want to understand more about the economy and how we're all involved in that, and it just trickles down from there. Or if somebody's just wanting to learn even more, say you've been there forever and you are not necessarily a CEO or a decision maker, but you want to get your mind going more in that direction and you want to know more, this will be a helpful tool for that as well.
I think that's a great point, because sometimes I think that, folks are asking for what they know they want to ask for, but maybe they're not asking for what they also need, and this will provide that for them. So I think that's a great way of looking at what other value then is this going to provide for our subscribers who want to get it.
So the commentary and forecast are also backed by economist Armada Intel. I work with Mr. Keith Prather, who is an MBA, and Dr. Chris Keel, who has a PhD. And they work with other distributor associations and have access to other information that is unique and helps us formulate our analysis and our commentary on it. I also provide all of the research and data and historical trends and the forecast moving forward. And Armada takes a look at it and says, okay, yeah, we're on the right track here, or I might disagree. And, we work on coming up with what we think is reasonable and what we really think is going to happen.
And so again, I got to look at a great issue, for lack of a better term, a great report that you put out last October, which I was thrilled to have and learned a lot from it and loved how it was laid out. But there are new things for this quarter. And I think we got to talk about some of those things. So what's new, what's coming up? What are some of the things that subscribers can look forward to seeing?
This is exciting. We are going to have a new executive summary. And what that does is it'll take down all those 11 sectors and the overall economy and break it down in a few pages of here are the 5 takeaways in each of these sectors that you need. And here are the up-down indicators of where we think things are headed for the next 2 years. Then we have a regional summary on that construction index. What we had done is broke out the regions by West, Northeast, South, and Midwest, and assigned the overall construction index score to each of those regions. And we've got that regional summary on the breakout. And we also look at how the region performed over Q2 in 2020 and over Q3 in 2019. Then we have a member only access to our community hub on the website. When you subscribe to the Outlook, you will be sent an invite to join this community on our website, and you can ask questions to me directly, have a conversation, provide feedback, anything having to do with the Outlook, we can converse on that website. And that is a benefit for our members only.
All right, so let me follow up on that, just to make sure that I'm clear on it, and then subscribers are clear on it. I did the economic outlook. I see it. I'm like, wow, I really have whatever. Hey, I have another question for Erin though about this, and maybe it's whatever it might happen to be that, the numbers that they're seeing. They can go into this community and then they can have access to you to get further clarification?
Yes. And we make it really easy for them because we're going to have an Ask Erin link at the bottom of each sector on the Outlook.
So you'll get back to them quickly and they can continue to move forward.
Yes.
There's a benefit for you, don't you think? That's pretty great. That's an awesome thing to have that you don't have access to. Wow, unless you're a subscriber. So that's pretty cool.
Unless you're a member.
Unless you're a member, correct, right.
And you have to subscribe. So 2 things. You have to subscribe and be a member. Yes.
I'm going to tell people how to subscribe and be a member in a minute. So keep watching. I got more questions because I know you're, again, this isn't put to bed yet. You still have, I know you're still working, and I appreciate you taking time out of the work you're doing, on the Outlook that's coming out later on in January. But What are you seeing at this point? What looks interesting without giving too much away? You know, what looks like, what's caught your eye, I guess, to this point? Is the best way to put it.
So we've all known that quarter two of 2020 wasn't so good, and quarter three was looking really promising. Where we can really see this is our construction index, because not only do we look at quarter three over quarter two in 2020, but we also look at quarter three in 2020 over quarter three in 2019. And there are some interesting numbers, especially when we look at it compared to year over year. And there might be a shock to somebody, there might not be a shock to somebody, but it led me to believe, wow, now I can't wait until quarter four numbers come out, because this is really evolving and it's really starting to tell us a story.
Right. And again, this will be available. You're putting the finishing touches on it. This will be available at the end of January for the first quarter outlook. Is that correct? This first quarter outlook?
Quarter three, quarter four of 2020.
Okay. But with forecast.
And then we're forecasting out through 2021 and giving a glimpse of 2022 as well.
And available again the end of January, so folks can subscribe now, become members now, and they will get it by the end of this month, which is great. They don't have to again start compiling that data themselves. You will have that for them.
Yes, that's the other thing, Scott. We send it directly to them. All they have to do is subscribe, so they don't have to go digging through anything. We'll send it directly to them.
They don't have to search and download. It just comes, right?
Right.
That's pretty great. That's pretty cool. Again, so let's get into how you can get your hands on it then, because that's important. Cost is insanely reasonable. We're talking about $850 a year for 4 quarters of data and analytics and economic information and outlook, which is really, again, breaks down to about $215 a quarter. It's a pretty good deal for all that information. I would take that. If folks want to get their hands on it, a couple of things that they can do. Correct me, Erin, because I don't want to mess this up. One, you can look down there. You can go to NAED.org/outlook, which will give you a little bit more information and give you an opportunity. You can order it that way. 2, look down there again. You can contact our member engagement team, which is memberengagement@NAED.org. That team is spectacular, and you're not going to argue with that. I know, Erin. A great group of people who work here at NAED who will take care of you and help you answer questions in terms of what it is that the outlook is going. And 3, if you still have questions about this, Erin will let you contact her directly. Where is she? She's over there. Erin will let you contact her directly. How can folks get in touch with you to ask whatever questions that they have about wanting to subscribe? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
eprinster@naed.org or 314-812-5336.
And we'll put that down there too, so folks can get a look at that. But eprinster@naed.org. I'm excited to see what this next economic outlook has for us again at the end of January. Erin Prinster, thanks for taking time. I know now you got to get back to work. You got to get this thing done. But thanks for taking time out so that we can talk about this and talk about the economic outlook and moving forward and getting folks involved in it. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate being on.
Well, it's always great to have you. Always great to have you. Real quick, and if you want to contact me, because we can't, you want to talk about TED Magazine things, you want to talk about tedmag.com or Light It, or you want to talk about the magazine itself or the podcast, 2 ways you can do that. 1, give me a phone call, area code 314-812-5311, or you can still email me, scosta, SCOSTA @NAED.org. Love to hear from you until we get a chance to talk again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the Distributed with TED Magazine podcast.